Ever felt like you need, I don't know, a secret decoder ring just to keep up with all the tech
Oh,
buzzwords?
absolutely.
Especially now, everyone's throwing around AI and chatbots like confetti.
Yeah,
It feels like every other day there's a new term, a new tool, and honestly, it can be a bit much.
it really can.
But what if I told you these exact tools are, well, quietly, but pretty powerfully, revolutionizing a massive field right under our noses? Higher education.
It's happening.
Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today on the deep dive. Our mission for this deep dive is to take a recent systematic review,
Right.
which, for those not swimming in academic speak, is basically a superpowered summary of lots of research papers, all boiled
It's
down.
a synthesis, yes.
Exactly. A synthesis into one big analysis. And we're going to pull out the most important, surprising, and hopefully jargon-free insights just for you.
Sounds like a plan.
Our main source today is this really fascinating paper, Chatbots in Higher Education, a systematic review by Ayasu Angelo Lembebo and Suling Chen. It just came out December 2024.
Very current.
Think of it as like your shortcut to getting instantly up to speed on where AI and chatbots are in the university world. We promise we'll navigate this academic stuff with clarity, maybe a bit of humor, and plenty of those aha moments will break down any tricky terms along the way. So let's jump in.
Great. And it's a really interesting area because, while AI is definitely transforming higher ed at speed,
Yeah.
the actual idea of a chatbot, it's not brand new. It didn't just appear yesterday.
Okay, let's unpack that. Because, when most people hear
Yeah.
chatbot now, they think ChatGPT, Google Bard, that sort of thing. You're saying it goes back further?
Oh, way further. The concept actually dates back to Joseph Weissenbaum's ELIZA. We're talking the 1960s here.
Wow, the 60s, really?
Yeah. ELIZA was, well, pretty basic by today's standards. A rule-based program trying to mimic conversation, mostly like a therapist. Very rudimentary, but it proved the concept worked. Now, fast forward, and yeah, you've got these incredibly sophisticated modern bots like ChatGPT and Bard, and they are genuinely reshaping how universities operate. Everything from teaching to admin tasks.
And it looks like research on this just, exploded recently. The paper mentions a huge surge between 2020 and 2023. What do you think caused that sudden boom?
That's a really sharp observation. The review specifically looked at papers from 2019 to 2023, and yeah, it shows this clear, almost exponential growth in interest.
Right.
It's highly likely that the big sudden shift to online learning, technology-enhanced learning during the COVID-19 pandemic, that probably accelerated things massively.
Makes sense.
Both the use of chatbots and then the research into them in universities. They weren't just like a cool extra anymore. They became pretty essential for keeping things going when face-to-face wasn't an option.
Okay, so with that bit of history, let's look at where these academic bots are really making a mark today. The review points to three main areas, and the biggest one seems to be right in the core of the university, teaching and learning itself. What does that actually look like?
Yeah, teaching and learning is definitely the biggest slice, and chatbots are proving super versatile there. For instance, they're being used to help students with language learning.
Language learning, how so?
Well, think about improving grammar, building vocabulary, even getting punctuation right. Some studies show they can help with complex computer science stuff too, like coding, problem solving.
Okay.
And they're even used to teach basic AI concepts sometimes, or visual design. It's pretty broad. Imagine a student stuck on a problem at 2 a.m. Instead of just being stuck, they can get instant personalized hints from a bot.
That's amazing, especially the language part, not just memorizing words, but grammar, punctuation. So it's not just answering FAQs, it's actually getting involved in the learning process. What are the big benefits they're seeing?
Exactly. I think the real game changer is that 204/7 personalized support, that constant availability. That seems to be the key behind boosting engagement, improving academic results, helping with goal setting. It's not just convenience, It's about removing barriers to learning, keeping motivation up. And crucially, the research even suggests it can help lower dropout rates by keeping students supported when they might otherwise struggle.
Wow, reducing dropout rates is huge. Okay, so that's the learning side. But these bots aren't just in the virtual classroom, are they? They're popping up elsewhere in university life, too. What's the next big area?
Yeah, the second major area is customer service. Think about all the admin stuff at a university.
Oh, yeah, endless questions.
Right. All those student queries about applications, financial aid, course registration. So you have bots like Chatbot Anna handling applicant questions, or PD guiding students through financial aid or signing up for classes.
Right.
This can really cut down on administrative costs, obviously, but also provides instant, accurate info. Less waiting, less frustration for students.
Makes total sense. And then the review mentions a third application area that might surprise some people. What's that?
Yeah, the third one is mental health support, which is so important right now.
Definitely.
Given the, increasing demand for mental health services on campuses, chatbots are stepping in to offer things like digital therapy, helping to reduce anxiety and stress.
So like a first point of contact?
Kind of. They don't replace human therapists, obviously, but they offer an accessible, immediate resource, especially maybe for students who hesitate to seek traditional help.
Now here's something that caught my eye. The review points out that, okay, chatbots are cost-effective, they work across different fields, but the research on them seems less common in STEM fields, like engineering or even social sciences, like history or geography. Why do you think that is? Why are some fields lagging in the research?
That is an interesting gap, isn't it? It's kind of a, huh, moment.
Yeah.
It suggests something about where AI is right now. A lot of the research seems driven by immediate practical needs, language help, basic questions, stuff that's often text-heavy and easy to structure.
Okay.
Maybe applying chatbots effectively to more abstract problems, like in history where you need nuanced interpretation, or advanced STEM that needs deep conceptual understanding. Maybe that's just a bigger challenge for current AI.
So it's harder to build a bot for that.
Potentially. It hints that the real deep dive for AI in education isn't just about efficiency, but about helping with complex human thinking. And that's harder to nail down.
That makes a lot of sense. The complexity itself is the barrier. Okay, so when we talk about research, there's a whole other layer of jargon there. How do researchers actually study if these chatbots are working? The review mentioned 3 main methods.
Right. The main approach they found was quantitative methods. This is all about the numbers, measurements, stats.
Okay, the numbers game.
Exactly. Great for answering what is happening, like how many students improve their grades, what percentage want to use a chatbot. One study found like 78.6% of users were strongly willing to use AI bots. They often use experiments, aiming for objective data.
So quantitative gives us the what. How do they figure out the why behind those numbers? Like, why did grades improve, or why do students feel a certain way?
That's where qualitative methods come in. These use things like in-depth interviews, focus groups, case studies,
Yeah.
really exploring people's experiences and views.
Talking to people, basically.
Pretty much. For example, some researchers did studies in Brazilian universities during COVID, using detailed interviews to understand the real-life experience of implementing chatbots. You get really rich contextual insights that way.
But maybe less common. Sounds time-consuming.
It is, yeah. Takes more time and effort.
Mm-hmm.
But that qualitative data gives you crucial insights into the human side of it all, the nuances of engagement, satisfaction, frustration.
Right. So quantitative for the what, qualitative for the why. Do they ever put them together for the full picture?
Oh, absolutely. That's mixed methods, combining both quantitative and qualitative. And this approach is really gaining traction because it gives you such a comprehensive understanding.
Best of both worlds.
Kind of, yeah. You can track performance with numbers, then use interviews to understand the reasons behind those numbers. One study, for instance, backed up its quantitative results by talking to students to get their learning experiences with the chatbots. It's about getting the what and the why together.
Okay, that methodological stuff is clearer now, which brings us to maybe the most practical question. Will students actually use these things? Because, it doesn't matter how amazing a bot is if no one wants to talk to it. How do researchers figure that out?
Yeah, what's fascinating here is how consistent the key factors are across different studies. Researchers often lean on these theoretical models, like UTO.
Okay, acronym alert. UTU.
Yeah. Unified Theory of Acceptance and Use to Technology, or TAM Technology Acceptance Model. Think of them like blueprints for understanding why people adopt tech.
So frameworks to predict behavior.
Exactly. They look at factors like how useful does someone think it is, how easy is it to use, stuff like that to predict if they'll actually use it.
Okay, so based on those models, what are the big things that make students say, yeah, I'll use that bot? What drives acceptance?
Well, the top ones are pretty much what you'd expect. Perceived usefulness, like, does this actually help me with my studies, make my life easier?
Right, does it work?
And perceived ease of use. Is it simple? Or is it a pain to interact with?
Yeah, no one wants to wrestle with tech.
Exactly. Beyond those big two, other things matter too. Good design, feeling like your privacy and security are protected, the overall quality of the service. If students think the bot is useful, easy, and trustworthy, they're way more likely to use it.
Okay, so far it sounds pretty positive. Useful, easy to use. But let's be real. We've all had those moments with automated systems, right? Shouting representative into the phone.
Oh, definitely.
There must be some robot problems when these bots enter the sensitive world of education. What challenges did the review highlight?
You're absolutely right. It's not all smooth sailing. A big one is that robot problem you mentioned. Things like feeling social isolation, maybe emotional detachment, the conversation just not feeling natural.
Like talking to a wall?
Kind of, yeah. Or just feeling robotic. Students mentioned this. One study noted a chatbot called Sammy struggled to really mimic human chat or show human-like emotion. It's that uncanny valley feeling, but for conversation.
Right, that weird feeling.
And then there are the really practical worries, like data protection, security. Those are huge concerns when you're sharing academic or personal info with an AI.
Yeah, you got to trust it. So even with all the tech getting better, that basic human need for, like, real connection doesn't just disappear. Does the review suggest how developers could maybe bridge that robot problem, make them feel less robotic?
Look, definitely. The review really emphasizes that, look, chatbots are great for support, but students still really value human interaction and instructor support when they need it.
So it's not about replacement.
Not at all. It's about augmenting human capabilities. The future needs to focus on making these interactions feel more natural, less mechanical. We also saw some mixed results in the studies on things like social influence affecting use, which might just depend on who you ask or the specific situation. It shows how complex this human-bot interaction still is.
That makes total sense.
Right.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Let's talk nuts and bolts. How are these things actually built? And how do they talk? What platforms are common? What are they trying to do? And how do they communicate?
Sure. The review found most chatbots right now are web-based. You access them through a browser, though some are on mobile apps. And a few are even exploring VR, virtual reality, for more immersive stuff.
Interesting.
In terms of their goals, the vast majority are task-based. They're built to help you do something specific, find info, answer a direct question.
Get stuff done.
Pretty much. They're less often purely conversational, just chatting for the sake of chatting. And communication, overwhelmingly text-based, typing back and forth.
Okay, so mostly web, task-focused, and typing. Got it.
Right.
But if we look ahead, what about a more multimodal future? You mentioned hybrid communication, text, voice, images. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, this is where things get really exciting for the future, and it links up with some cool learning theories. There's this thing called the cognitive theory of multimedia learning.
Okay.
Basically, it suggests people learn better when information comes in multiple ways, like text and pictures, or text and voice instead of just one way.
Makes sense. Different channels.
Right. And this integration helps reduce something called cognitive load.
Cognitive load sounds like jargon. Break that down.
It just means the mental effort needed to process information, like how hard your brain has to work.
Ah, okay. Brain strain.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So imagine a chatbot sees you're confused. Instead of just giving more text, it shows a diagram alongside the text, or maybe even speaks the answer. That can make it easier to understand, reducing your brain strain.
So using multiple formats, pictures, sound, text, could actually make learning easier and more effective than just plain text. Less mental effort for the student.
Precisely. It can make the learning experience better, more engaging, help you process things more deeply, remember it better. That's the potential of these hybrid communication channels. We could even think about bots based on how they take input and give output.
Maybe.
Well, you have text-to-text, HTT, like old Eliza type in, type out.
Yeah.
Then text-to-speech, TTS, where it talks back. Speech-to-text, STT, where you talk to it. And speech-to-speech, STS, which is trying to be like a real conversation.
Wow.
The future is definitely about exploring these richer, multimodal ways to make learning feel really seamless.
Fascinating stuff. Okay, so we've covered where bots are now, how they're studied, whether people use them. But what are researchers still scratching their heads about? What's the next big frontier for chatbot research in higher ed?
Well, the review pointed out that most studies tend to focus on the usual suspects. How students feel about the bots, whether they accept the tech, engagement levels, overall learning performance.
Which are important foundational things.
Definitely important, yeah. Absolutely foundational.
But are there deeper areas that haven't gotten as much attention? The real, deep dive spots for future research where big breakthroughs could happen?
Exactly. Two really big underexplored areas stood out. Higher order thinking and that cognitive load we just talked
But
about.
higher order thinking, like critical thinking.
Yeah, critical thinking, complex problem solving, synthesizing information. Only 4 studies in the review really focused on that. But that's where true intellectual growth happens, right? Chatbots could potentially foster these skills, maybe through smart questioning or generating prompts, going beyond just giving answers to actually guiding thought.
Huge potential there. And cognitive load, the brain strain thing. Reducing that seems like a massive win for learners, especially with tough subjects.
It really would be. Only 3 studies specifically measured cognitive load, but what they found suggests chatbots can reduce it by giving quick answers and support, especially when students are grappling with new
Right,
ideas.
less time stuck, less mental energy wasted.
Exactly. Imagine a bot that gets when you're confused and just presents the info in the clearest way possible, maybe visually, maybe auditory. It frees up your mental bandwidth for the actual understanding. These areas, higher order thinking, cognitive load, they're really ripe for future work, moving beyond just info delivery to really boosting the learning process itself.
So, wrapping this all up,
Hmm.
what does this mean for us, for higher education as it keeps evolving?
Well, I think the key takeaways are pretty clear. Chatbots. They are proving effective as educational tools in higher ed. They seem to enhance engagement, improve performance, boost motivation, and they're being used in teaching and learning, customer service, and even that crucial mental health support role.
And looking ahead, for these bots to really succeed long term, what's absolutely essential for universities and the people building them to focus on?
A few key things. We definitely need robust, user-centered design. That means getting everyone involved, students, educators, developers, in the process from the start.
Makes sense.
We also need constant, serious attention to privacy and data security. That came up again and again as a major user concern.
Crucial.
And critically, we need to move towards more diverse ways of communicating, beyond just text, using voice, images, maybe even realistic avatars to help bridge that robot problem and make interactions feel more natural.
So, what's your advice then? For educators thinking about this and for researchers looking where to go next based on this big review?
I'd say for educators in higher ed, feel encouraged. Try incorporating chatbots, experiment with how they can personalize learning in your context. For researchers, definitely keep using those mixed methods. Get the what and the why for richer data.
Yeah.
And most importantly, let's really dig into those underexplored areas. Higher order thinking, cognitive load, the potential benefits there for truly transforming learning, they feel immense.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you listening right now? Imagine a future where your own learning journey is, well, seamlessly supported by an intelligent companion. Available 24/7, tailored just for you, maybe even helping you think more critically. What new possibilities could that open up for your learning, your growth? How might it reshape how you engage with knowledge in the years ahead? That's definitely something to think about until our next deep dive.